Hi everyone. So today we are talking to Chimnese Davids, an author and an entrepreneur. She will be joining us just now. So hi everyone. I hope that you are all doing well. Today we are talking to Chimnese Davids from Cape Town. She is an author and an entrepreneur. So I am very excited to be having this chat with her. She'll be just sharing her journey with us. It's such a privilege for us to get to just experience what she goes through as a writer. And I know that some of her work is mostly to encourage other people to also write. And she's helping a lot with that through her organization. So we're going to have her with us just now. Oh, hi, Sesetu. Yeah. So I think she is just taking time to join us. I always find that it's intriguing for me to talk to people who also doing something with their time. So I see that Chimnese is about to join us. Chimnese, where are you? You will forgive me, guys. This is like the first time I do this, so I'm trying to share.
Hi, I'm just setting up my thingy. My camera is a bit off.
I am having such a hard time to maneuver this thing around.
Mine just fell apart now. I'll be with you now.
Okay, take your time.
Okay. Okay, I might as well keep it in my hand. Otherwise, the whole thing is going to fall apart.
Yeah, it's always a struggle with this technology, hey? How are you?
Yeah, but I'm doing fine. It's just very cold here in Cape Town. So, yeah, we have to dress very warm even though we're inside our houses.
Yeah, even here, but you know, these days it's getting much better for us. So,
Yes, definitely.
I am actually nervous to talk to you today because like I read your book and I have it here with me, Redeeming Soul. And I was telling you the other day that, you know, it was such a gripping book for me. And all I could think is that I really want to talk to this lady. I want to hear her journey. I want to know more about who she is. So can you tell us who is Chimnese?
Yes, I definitely can do that. I'm Chimnese Davids. So I've self-published all of my books. I didn't go through any traditional publishers. So I started out writing as a fiction writer, fan fiction writer on these overseas websites, and I always used to write underneath like a pseudonym name. So it wasn't Chimnese. No one knew that I ever wrote who the person is that was writing all these stories. But the people was very entertained by by the stories that I used to write. So back
Yeah.
then, the stories obviously wasn't wasn't what it's now. The content was completely different because at that
Mm-hmm.
time I was still in the world, so I was writing, your love stories, romance, and things like that.
Yeah.
And from there, I started to move into poetry, and that is
Mm-hmm.
where the love of poetry came in. I started out on this website called All Poetry, and that's where my actual publisher, she discovered me on that website. And it was a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of writers from all across the world, which I love because they really help you by building your self image, about not being scared to put your stuff out there. We
Yeah.
get criticism a lot on our work,
Yeah.
but I think as writers, we are our own critics.
Yeah. I can
And
think. Yeah.
so writing has been in my blood, I can say, from a very, very early age, from the age of 12, I started
Mm-hmm.
writing. My dream was always to be a writer. It was actually to be a journalist, but obviously it didn't happen. But I love to write, and I'm also a digital marketer. So I do social media for various companies,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously my own brand as well. And then also Kingdom Writers Explorer also came aboard. So
Yeah.
I've done really a lot of things, and basically it's more about my ministry, about
Yeah.
being a voice, the
Mm-hmm.
voiceless out there.
Okay.
And yeah, in a nutshell, that is me.
Okay. So, will you just tell us more about your books? I heard you mentioning books. So, what books are they?
Yeah, I've got my first publication was Muses of Wandering Passions, which was my first poetry book.
Mm-hmm.
That book is also available at loot.co.za, and it's
Yeah.
also available as an ebook version on Amazon. And then my
Mm-hmm.
second book came out in 2015, No Greater Love Than This. That
Mm-hmm.
book is also a poetry and verses. That is also a very beautiful book. And then
Okay.
in 2018, I self-published my third book, which is Redeeming Soul, which is a more very different than the previous books. But all my books is basically parts of a journey. Muse of
Okay.
Wandering Passions is part one, No Greater Love is part two, and Redeeming Soul, I believe that's the end of that journey to move
Okay.
on to the next chapter.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I heard you say that you want to be the voice. What kind of voice exactly do you want to take out there?
Okay, I want to be an inspiration to not just to women, but to each and everyone that's in need of inspiration,
Yeah.
especially with the communities that I'm from. I'm from the Cape Flats. So
Mm.
there's a lot of young people that don't know who they want to be. They're always following, the wrong things in life. So I just
Yeah.
want to show them that I'm from the Cape Flats, and I want to be that role model, that voice that can show them that no matter what you go through in this life, that you can come
Mm-hmm.
out to the other side. Because it really takes a struggle for someone to be able to to walk where they are right now. So I've really been through a lot in my life as
Yeah.
a child, as a teenager, and even as a young adult. And
Mm-hmm.
now all those things become like your wisdom, your knowledge
Mm-hmm.
about life.
Yeah. So basically, you want to channel them in the right path for their lives based on what you have gone through. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So tell me more about Kingdom Writers.
Yeah, Kingdom Writers Explorer was, I never knew what it's going to be called. But then in 2017, after I met like one of my, I can't say my best, but one of the the mentors that I've met in my life that played a vital role in my life as a Christian woman. I mean,
Yeah.
she basically almost raised me from, I won't say, can I say baby Christian,
Yeah,
into the
again.
woman that I am. And in 2017, just before she actually passed on, she blessed me with this business, and she said to me, "This is going." She was my first client that I wrote a book for, and
Mm-hmm.
helped her with the whole launch and everything. And it was so amazing because I felt more that she taught me something instead of the other way around. And that is one relationship and one mentor that I've carried through my entire life up until now. And
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom Writers Explorer has gone, it's gone so huge right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
moving into a global, how can you say, global platform where Kingdom
Wow.
Writers is not just for South Africans, but globally. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not just like writing, but it's an outreach program where,
Mm-hmm.
where I actually started this project now in 2020, coming into 2021, where we are
Yeah.
actually calling out to all the libraries, retail bookstores to donate books to Kingdom Writers Explorers, because there's so many young children at home that can't read, they don't have access to libraries, and also
Mm-hmm.
schools who don't have the facility of having a library. So what I'm doing and my team, we're donating these books to those
Mm-hmm.
schools and to those creches, daycare centers that is in need of it.
Okay, but what is the core of Kingdom Writers? What do you do? What is at the heart of it?
The heart of it is to mentor aspiring
Mm-hmm.
writers to get them
Okay.
to be published. That is
Okay.
that is there's so many facets of Kingdom Writers Explorers. So it's not just one thing. There's so
Okay.
many things about, and I believe it will grow even more.
Yeah, I believe so too. So if I was a upcoming writer or wanted to write, would I be able to contact you and you become my ghostwriter? What services do you really render to the people?
Yeah, you can the person that wants to contact me don't yet have
Hi, Shemnis. Did
the
I lose
manuscript.
you?
I think I lost you there for a few seconds.
I think
Are
I
you back?
lost you a bit.
Okay, but I'm active on my side. So okay. So I can, yeah, for upcoming writers, you can contact me.
Mm-hmm.
We can go through the process because I like to first speak to the person before I say yes, I can do it. You know, it's all about having an understanding, and I need to know what type of book you are writing, and it's also what type of content I'm comfortable with writing for the person, because
Okay.
it won't be my thoughts, it's going to be that person's thoughts. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to take whatever you have, put it into a manuscript, and then from there we can rework it. Sometimes I go through three drafts before we are both fine with what's happening. And then I do use my own publisher if the person wants to go to the next process and have that book into an actual book. So like I said, always that we're helping one another. My service is
Mm-hmm.
just, I'm just like the middleman. I can do the
Mm-hmm.
editing, proofreading, and all the administration work between the writer, the publisher, editor, and also the book printers.
Yeah. You know, I always think that everyone has a story to tell. It's not necessarily that everyone can write, but everyone has a story. And I think it's such a wonderful thing that you are doing to help people get their stories out there. So tell me now,
Yes,
I just have lots of questions for you. So tell me, what made you decide to be a writer?
Wow, I believe that when I was 6 years old and my grade one teacher asked the class, and specifically myself, she asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I
Mm-hmm.
just had this strange thought, and the words came out of my mouth. I want to be a writer, never
Mm.
knowing how and what it will take for me to become a writer one day. So it was
Mm.
definitely a childhood dream that I had, even though there's people that used to laugh at my dream because what person that's on the Cape Flats will write a book? What do you write about? And there's always these kind of how can you say the statistics?
Yeah.
People don't look beyond what the mind can perceive, and
Mm.
I believe if I should have listened to the naysayers that you can't
Mm.
write a book, I
Yeah.
probably would have not been the person that I am today because writing actually taught me so much about myself and about life
Mm.
and people.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I am very proud of you and the work that you are doing. And just wish you all the best in everything that you are doing. And I hope that more upcoming writers will join you and walk with you.
Yes, definitely. I'm praying for those writers to come through. I mean, because I believe that we need to leave a legacy. That's just
Yeah.
my heart's that always say that how will people know who you were? Tell them
Hmm.
what happened. Like, look here, we're in a pandemic. How many
Yeah.
writers didn't write a book about it? So
Yeah. That's
we need to.
true.
It's our history in the making.
It's our history in the making. Yeah, so like with
Yes.
criticism, how do you handle that? I know personally that the biggest fear I had with my writing journey was like once the story is out there, you cannot take it back. So
Mm.
what would you advise someone who's going through the same fears? Like I've got a story to share, but how do I get it out there?
Yeah, yeah. I think that is everyone's fear. What will
Mm,
people think about the content that you've put out? What I think with all my books, I had that fear of what will
mm-hmm.
people think because I mean, it's your own thoughts, it's your personal thoughts, it's your inner voice that's coming out when you write. And
Mm,
with my last book, Redeeming Soul, it was a book that really I went very deep into what the story is about finding myself in this place that I know people will throw the Bible at me at that
yeah.
time. They will just say a whole lot of things. But when 2019 came and the book was released, I was so amazed at the amazing feedback that came back
Mm,
from the book. There was no negativity about the book, and my mentor, she prayed and she said, let out of this book, let people take what's necessary for them,
mm,
what they need to get out of the book, and not about the story. So, like I always say, I'd never write a book about myself. I write a
yeah.
book for other people that's in need of knowing how can I overcome my battles.
Yeah, no, I can conquer that because when I read your book, Redeeming Soul, I remember thinking I can see myself here. Like the journey that you share in that book is different from mine, but I could relate to what you were saying. I could see myself being healed. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm not alone in this world. There are people going through the same things that I'm going through. And it gives so much
Mm.
hope, you know? I think,
It does,
you know,
yes.
yeah, yes. Yeah. So, Shanice, if there's someone out there who says, I don't think that is me, I hear what you are saying, but my background, where I come from, it's so dark. I cannot be that person. No one will want to hear me because we cannot run away from the fact that we come from a certain past in South Africa. And like, for example, for me, one of my fears when I wrote was like, people are just not going to read my book. There's a perception about what an African woman is all about and where they come from. So what would you say to that person who's also struggling and trying to get out of that mindset?
Yeah, oh, that is a tough one, but I know a lot of people, lot of people that find themselves, especially with depression and anxiety. I mean, I faced those things, and there was times I didn't share it with my family because you're even fearing of people finding out that you are depressed and that you have an anxiety. And I believe that you need to speak up. I've in a recent years, or in a recent year, we've seen so many people that has lost their lives to depression, who took their own lives because they didn't know how to get out of that dark place.
Yeah.
Some of us that has survived that place, let us be a voice for the next person. Let us be encouraging those who are not aware of how they feel or they don't understand. I think sometimes we try to make sense of the situation that we are in. And sometimes it doesn't require us to do that. It's just for us to pray. But when you're in that place, you are unable to pray. You are unable to see God's face because you don't know what's going to be okay with the way that I'm feeling. And I believe when I was in that place, I was crying out to God, but I didn't know how to get to God until I came into a place and I went for counseling. And that is where I realized that it's okay to feel the way that you are feeling, because if we don't express our emotions, the next person's not going to know how to help us or how to guide us. And through counseling, I've actually learned how to balance my life. And since then, yes, there's times when we do get discouraged and facing a lot in our lives. Yeah. But when you have when you have the tools, then it's easier for you to let go and work through the steps to get to the other side.
So, Chimnese, we're gonna take some questions. We'll see if there's anyone who has questions for you, and we can take those. But overall, do you have anything in your heart that you would want to share based on your journey and just encouraging people out there to pursue their dreams as well?
Yeah, I want just to speak to just anyone out there that's listening to this live right now, that no matter what you face in life, you can still get to the other side. You can still achieve your dreams, even if it's dormant right now. Just sit with yourself and write down the 10 things that you want to achieve. Whether it's goals for the next 5 years, 10 years. In 2020, I was actually at home, and for that year, I wrote all my goals. I wrote everything that seemed so impossible to reach and to achieve. And the moment when you write things down and you just turn the chapter to how to actually take those goals and make it into something. And then I saw when 2021 shifted, the shift in the goals that I actually released out there onto paper actually came into realization. And then I was like, this is really an amazing thing that God wanted us to sit with ourselves and to work with who we are as a person, and just use whatever tools that God is showing you and ask Him to lead the way. And when 2021 came, I'm still feel like I'm living in a dream, because most of those things that I wrote down actually came to fruition. And then I was like, that is really how powerful God is, that no matter when we see ourselves in hopelessness, God will still hope. I always believe that even if you have a little bit of hope, that's enough. The smallest seed, the mustard seed, remember that God said no matter how small the seed, how small the faith is, at least you still have something to hold on to. That is my how can I say, my inspiration for you today, to just continue with the work that you, but always work on yourself, because if you can't give to the world if you are not on the right place and if you are empty, because we need to fill ourselves. Yeah, thank you.
That is really powerful. Guys, do you have any questions for Chimnese? Maybe you are out there battling your own storm. You don't know what to do. I can see there's people now joining. So maybe they want to just get to know more about Chimnese and ask a question. Please pop in your question as we are just about to wrap up our conversation.
Yes, don't think there's any questions.
I think they're coming. So if you
But
have any
even
questions,
after when they do have questions and it comes through, I'll gladly answer them as well. So that is fine.
Yes, and tell us, where can we find your books?
You can find my books at Lotus Bookstore. They are an online store, and it's also available on my own website, Kingdom Writers Explorer. I just recently built that website, and they can contact me through my Facebook page, Chimnese Davids, and I also have a page called Kingdom Writers Explorer, and on Instagram, Chimnese Author Davids, and my email address is chimnese.davids@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome. I see there is a question from, okay, she says there is no question for them. They are just so grateful that they could talk to you today. I have a question from Surani. Who is your sounding board when you write?
My sounding board, that would be God. God is really the reason why I'm writing, and He's giving me all the inspiration for me to really pour out from whatever sits within myself, to put it out there into the world. So thank you for that question, Surani. I hope that answers your question.
I think it does. Okay, I think we'll just give it a few minutes to see if there's any more questions, and then we will wrap it up. Thank you for your time and just slotting me in on your busy schedule. I really appreciate it.
No problem. It's grateful to share my knowledge with other people as well.
I was like so shaking. Oh, am I really going to talk to this lady? But I'm really happy that we did it, and I promise you next time we're following up on your book, because I really enjoyed reading this book, and like I said earlier, I could see myself in the book, and I do believe that many people will see themselves through your work. I couldn't even wait to finish it. I was like, no, should I cry? Sometimes I feel like crying, sometimes I feel like putting it away. So it was really inspiring, but I also saw the healing power of God. I could see myself journeying through, and I had that sense of just not being alone. So the work that you are doing is wonderful. Keep on shining and keep on going global, girl. We are rooting for you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you to all the supporters that supporting me on this journey as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Chimnese. If there's anything that comes after this, I will pop you an email. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa, for the invite. Have a
Thank
blessed day.
you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.